was Elijah, the prophet of fire. My story begins in a time when faith wavered and the very heavens seemed to turn against us.
They say faith can move mountains, but can it save our dying land?
In those days, the people had forgotten the true God, turning to false idols and empty promises. I was just a man, but God's fire burned within me. He spoke, and I listened.
Elijah, my prophet, rise and speak my words to this faithless generation.
As the Lord lives, there shall be no rain except at my word. With those words, I sealed the fate of a nation and began a journey that would test the very limits of faith. Faith isn't just believing when everything's right. It's trusting when the world crumbles. As the drought took hold, I wondered, had God abandoned me? But then, God sent ravens to feed me. When the brook dried up, His voice led me to Zarephath. Don't be afraid. The Lord says, the jar of flour will not be used up and the jug of oil will not run dry. Day after day, the flour and oil never ran out. We were touching a piece of God's infinite abundance. But then, the widow's son fell ill and died. I felt the weight of my humanity crushing me. Lord my God, let this boy's life return to him. These miracles weren't just about food or life, they were about faith. Faith that could sustain us through any trial. And I knew then that the greatest test of that faith was yet to come. Mount Carmel. I can still feel the weight of that moment, the fate of a nation hanging in the balance. How long will you waver between two opinions? If the Lord is God, follow him. But if Baal is God, follow him. Hour after hour they called. Their desperation, I could almost pity them.
Baal, answer us.
In their frenzy, I saw the emptiness of their faith, and for a moment, I felt alone. For a heartbeat, doubt crept in. What if? But then I remembered. I wasn't alone. I never was. Lord, let it be known today that you are God in Israel. In that quiet moment, I felt it. The fire within. The presence of the Almighty. O Lord, answer me. Answer me so these people will know that you, O Lord, are God. It was more than fire. It was the very power of creation, the voice that had spoken the world into being.
The Lord, He is God. The Lord, He is God.
In that moment, I wasn't just Elijah anymore. I was a vessel, a conduit for something far greater than myself. And I knew then that this was only the beginning. The fire had come, but the land still thirsted. Now came the true test of faith, to call forth the rain. Lord, remember your promise. Remember your people. As I prayed, I felt connected to the earth, the sky, to every living thing crying out for water.
A cloud as small as a man's hand.
That tiny cloud, it was hope. It was promise. It was God's answer. And then, the heavens opened. But God wasn't finished with miracles that day. The power of the Lord came upon me. I ran, faster than horses, faster than the wind itself. In that moment, I wasn't just a man. I was a force of nature, a vessel for something greater. But it was in the quiet after the storm that I truly heard him.
Elijah.
Not in fire, not in storm, but in a gentle whisper. That's where I found him. That's where I found myself. Even today, the power of faith moves mountains and calls down fire from heaven. But it begins with a whisper.